You don't overthink because you're weak. You overthink because somewhere very early in life, thinking became your armor. You replay conversations long after they end. You rehearse futures that haven't happened. You feel a low-level tension in your chest, even on good days, like something important is about to go wrong. And the strangest part? Most people think you're calm, rational, put together. They don't see the noise. They don't hear the constant internal scanning. Did I say the wrong thing? What if they misunderstood me? What's the worst-case scenario here? You learned early that being caught off guard was dangerous, that unpredictability had consequences, that mistakes cost you something: love, safety, approval, or peace. So you adapted. You became observant. You became careful. You became mentally fast. And that adaptation worked. It kept you safe in an environment where emotions were unstable, reactions were inconsistent, or silence itself felt threatening. But here's the paradox, and it's the quiet tragedy of your life. The very skill that once protected you is now exhausting you. The system that once prevented pain now creates it. You don't know how to rest, because rest feels like risk. You don't know how to trust calm, because calm never lasted. And you don't know how to stop thinking, because thinking once kept you alive emotionally. This video is not about fixing your mind. It's about understanding why it had to become this way. Psychologically, chronic overthinking rooted in childhood is not a personality flaw. It is a trauma-adaptive cognitive style. At the center of this archetype is hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is the nervous system's decision that the world is unpredictable and therefore must be constantly monitored. Imagine a smoke alarm that went off too often in childhood, not because there was always fire, but because the environment was emotionally volatile. The brain learned, better to detect danger too early than too late. This is closely tied to an anxious attachment pattern, where connection feels uncertain and conditional. Love feels earned, not given. Safety feels temporary, not stable. Your mind became a surveillance system. Neurologically, this shows up as an overactive default mode network, DMN, the brain network responsible for self-referential thinking, rumination, and mental simulation. In safe environments, the DMN rests. In anxious childhoods, it never shuts off. You learn to predict moods, to read microexpressions, to sense emotional weather shifts before they happened. Often, this develops alongside emotional parentification, where the child becomes responsible for managing not just their own feelings, but the emotional ecosystem of the household. You didn't just think for yourself, you thought for everyone. So now, as an adult, your mind doesn't ask, "Is this moment dangerous?" It asks, "What could go wrong if I stop paying attention?" Overthinking is not excessive thought. It is misdirected protection. The true cost of overthinking is not anxiety. It is the loss of simplicity. Nothing is ever just a moment for you. Every moment is a calculation. Every interaction is a potential threat. Every decision branches into infinite futures. You don't experience life. You analyze it while it's happening. Carl Jung once wrote that neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. Your overthinking is a substitute. Instead of feeling fear, you plan. Instead of feeling grief, you replay. Instead of feeling desire, you evaluate risk. And slowly, invisibly, you trade authenticity for safety. You become someone who is low maintenance, but internally overwhelmed. Someone who understands everyone, but feels understood by no one. Someone who anticipates others' needs while neglecting their own. The core fear beneath overthinking is not failure. It is loss of control, because control once meant survival. So rest feels irresponsible. Joy feels suspicious. Silence feels like the calm before impact. This is the invisible grief of the overthinker. You grieve the version of yourself that could have been spontaneous, but never felt allowed to be. These patterns don't disappear with age. They evolve. You might over-prepare for conversations that never happen. Reread messages searching for hidden meaning. Struggle to make decisions without exhausting analysis. Feel responsible for other people's emotions. Stay in relationships longer than you should because leaving feels dangerous. Experience burnout without obvious external pressure. In relationships, you become highly attuned, but rarely relaxed. You sense shifts instantly. You notice distance before it's spoken, but instead of asking directly, you think. You analyze. You spiral. At work, you're often competent but drained. Your standards are high because mistakes once had consequences. You equate preparedness with worth. Internally, your mind rarely rests. Even during downtime, you're rehearsing futures, reviewing pasts, or planning exits. Here's the crucial reframing. These are coping strategies, not your personality. Healing begins with witnessing, not correcting. Not telling yourself, "I'm too much," but saying, "This made sense once." The goal is not to stop thinking, but to teach your nervous system that it is no longer alone. Healing for the overthinker is not about discipline. It is about reparenting safety. Inner child reparenting means giving yourself what was missing: consistency, reassurance, permission to rest. Shadow work means integrating the part of you that learned fear, not shaming it. You practice noticing when your mind scans and gently reminding it, "We are safe enough right now." You choose softness not because the world is safe, but because you are allowed to be human anyway. The philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them." For you, healing is learning to loosen those judgments, slowly, patiently, compassionately. You are not broken. You were brilliantly adaptive. And now, you are allowed to evolve. The goal was never to be fixed. The goal was always to become whole. If this resonated, share it with someone who lives in their mind too much. And remember, you don't need to think your way to safety anymore. You are already here.